Hi, we're chilling. Huh? Got a minute. Till then, this gentleman may bring up the question he has, and we could try and tackle it. Yes, no. You want one? You got it?
我觉得就是人分
Mm-hmm.
you create those nothing takes us
Mm. Oh, let me see. You can go with this. So basically, like that. Okay, I see what you're trying. Who's that? I see what you're trying. It's like the so you have something like class main, and within the main you have a function public static void print shape. And I want you to notice see how in the function it has it basically prints whatever shape you give it. Right? That's the whole idea. And all it does is see how it's saying that this shape. So we have shape. See, we pass in shape as a parameter, right? So this shape is our parameter. Shape is a parameter given, right? And we're just doing system dot out dot print line shape dot to string. Oh shoot! Good catch. Share my entire screen. What? But whatever's in the main, right? Was it public static void main string args? Did this is args? This? Say I want to like print a shape, right? I do print, and I already declare a shape. Let's say square s1 equals a new square, right? I don't know the constructor, but let's say we give dimensions 5 by 5, right? Right? Basically, the square object, it's in a different file. So we have a public class square, right? We have a constructor. Let's say we have public square int size, right? This is just like going over basic.
the screw will standard save class, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But you some save method or the screw method that's what
That's really confused. So like this.
use of the print S1 will use this two string
Mm-hmm.
the save or the
Mm-hmm.
screw.
This. Well, here's the thing: is the shape class abstract, or is it like basically like the whole idea of like having these? That's good. Um, so to answer your question more specifically, when it's saying a two string, it's calling two string for square, right? Because we have a shape, right? This is shape. And from shape, we have square, and we have rectangle, right? So depending on how you implement it, if I were to say two string, right? See how it's saying, because here's just taking any shape as a parameter for the print. So you could take a square or a rectangle. So when it says toString, it basically goes to that shape, right? And checks which toString you're referencing to. Because a square has a different toString method than a rectangle. So by having the shape.toString, shape is just like the name, because it's like generic.
Same is the type of same is same.
Mhm.
So I'm asking like the tuition will be from same instead.
It'll be from whatever shape, like specifically. That's the reason why it's saying shape, because you want this function to take in a square or a rectangle, right? You don't want to take, if you wanted to make a specific function, like what I'm trying, maybe this will make it a bit more obvious. If you want to make like specific a print function for a square and a print function for a rectangle, then you got to write out like right here, um, public static void print square like this, right? And that would specifically go to a squares toString method, right? So this would go directly here. Like if I were to create this type of function, like instead of public static void print shape, I could do like shape, oh not shape, square shape, right? Then if I did, let me write this down. Um, like this would be square. Then we have system.out.print. We rename this shape. Print line shape.toString, right? This toString method goes directly here, right? So references directly to the toString method in square, right? If I wanted to then, if I say I wanted to pass in a rectangle into this function, it would give me an error because the rectangle is not a square. And this, does that make sense? For that, I would need to have a separate public static void print, let's say rectangle shape. And this would print system.out.println shape.toString. This function goes directly to the rectangle. Does that make sense?
So if you don't do these two methods, the first method would do the same thing.
The first method, what it does is that, let me erase these. Now we're allowing it to take in a square or a rectangle because both are technically shapes. So what it does, whatever we pass in, it goes to the shape, and a shape can either be a square or a rectangle. Does that make sense? Okay.
So if you don't, I don't know, if you do override, like let's say odd methods or like, for example, toString, the shape is overrided in both the shape rectangle, right?
Mhm.
Is there any way to use the toString and shape?
Unless it's like implemented in shape. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's overriding shape. I mean, square.
Mhm.
Is there any like instance that shape and rectangle can use a method and
I
shape?
think you need to use super for that.
Oh,
That's where super comes in.
just want to make sure so.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Any other questions? You sure?
Yeah,
Like I said, there's other people here. What are the questions in the chat? Are you answering the questions in the chat, Kathy?
It's like generics. I don't know.
To the questions, Azra, are you there? Will the exam have 7 questions and exactly these types of questions, or will they vary? I doubt. How long is your lecture? 50 minutes? I doubt she's gonna give 7 questions. She usually gives like 4 or 5, Chin, if I'm not mistaken. But anything from the review sheet is fair game. We usually expect an output question, a question where you have to write. Let me like show you guys. So for your exam, expect at least one output question, something like this. So the output at line A, B, C, etc. Expect one question where we have to write functions, right? So this one kind of has both. And you have another question. This is another like output question. Yeah, like Elon said. And then this is another example where it's like write the classes, and you expect one GUI question. So yeah. All right. Any other questions? I don't know your name, but do you have any other questions? You sure?
Maybe one common question.
One GUI question. Oh, all right. So here's the thing. I never did GUI. Aquilar, I took a 212 with Aquilar. He never did GUI. He did GUI at the last part. He was saying it's useful to have. Okay. So go to GUI. For the GUI, I just say most of it's just memorization. Like you can't um word this.
If you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah,
You can't read.
you can't. It's very hard. It's not like these types of questions, like the output or like the function question. We could kind of like reason it out. This one's just straight up memorization, right? Like you just gotta know what's the code for adding a text input. What's the code for adding a label? What's the code for adding buttons, right? This is J button. This is J label. I think you gotta set the color. You got there's certain that you just gotta memorize. Or like be here. So whenever you do anything GUI related, you have to import similar to how you import other packages. You have to import swing, right? That's the main GUI package that Java uses. And then AWT, this is for when you want to listen to like events. It's like when you have buttons you want to click. That's when you or like labels you want to take that input of. That's when you have to import that. You see here, so like I said, it's mostly just memorization. You have extends JFrame, you have a J label. This one is I think they have has a bit here. Uh the first time is press, we should display the message, are you sure? And the second time is press, are you really sure? And third time is press, should exit, right? So that's why we have this right here. So language demo, editor GUI, set size. Most of this is just gotta memorize. Cell default collaboration. This is basically saying this portion is talking about these buttons right here, right? Um, language, which is Spanish, Spanish to English. Buttons. Oh, translate. Yeah, that's a translate button. Content pane. Once again, this comes from the JFrame. We gotta have a layout, JPanel. This grid layout, I wouldn't really worry about. This is just like CSS. How you want to do it. It's basically like what is a grid layout? It's like left to right. That grid layout, which one? In CS Kathy. Is that grid layout, the CSS, left to right? There's a grid layout. Yeah, right. There's flex. That's just CSS. I think grid layout's left to right. Yeah, it's asking for one row, not one row. Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, 5 rows, one column. Why does it keep doing that? Right here, one row. So see how everything's like ordered in this direction? So this 1, 2, 3. No, I messed up. Got up. On. Right. It's just one column going straight down. That's a good layout. Straight up. Um, see the rest. In order to add text, you could set labels. These are what these are for. All right. So you see how this is like a label for the top. Right here. You go back to here. These are the labels. If you want to add labels, you gotta do the set label function. Um, see, okay, so this is where the closing comes in. We have a function. right? Every time we press the event, it increases the close times, right? And basically goes to what she asks for. If it's one, we press it one time, we say, "Are you sure?" Right? If we press it two times, we like, "Are you really sure?" If it's three times, we exit the system. Okay. So yeah, that's the GUI stuff. Like I said, GUI is just about memorization. It's very hard to like logic it out. Mostly just trying to memorize. Like the only logical part about it is just this, which is pretty easy. You have a counter. If the counter's one, you ask this. If the counter's two, you ask this. If the counter's otherwise, you just exit the system. Uh, Other than this, everything else is just memorization. Yes. Okay. Please compose me in chat. 4 questions in the exam, 2 of them GUI, 1 of them polymorphism, location inheritance. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Like I said, I would talk more about GUI. I just never. Does anyone have any questions? In person, online? Any questions? For those in the Zoom, you can ask questions as well in the chat. We'll wait a few for any other questions. Would y'all like to me to go over GUI, the GUI in more depth? Do you think I should? It's been 30 minutes. I'm here for another hour, so we have time to bear question in the chat. Hold on. I don't like the GUI. It's weird. Okay, so should I do a live example or should I do? Sure. Let's do that first, and then if we have time, we'll do a live demo. All right, let's go through part by part. So, whenever you use a GUI in Java, Java has its own built-in GUI. Let me just show you guys this. Right, you have Java Smooth. Right. So you might have like seen before where you use like HTML, CSS, maybe. I don't know if you guys seen that before, the chat in person. Like it's using HTML and CSS, but Java has its own things. You have like so it has Swing. Oh, use cookies for geeks. That's another thing you have. You guys use that, right? So it has its very own like front end in a way, right? So basically, if you want to use it, you have to import Swing. This is for the front end implementation, and these two parts, these are for the back in a way, right? Also, I think they're also front end. These are for like front end, this back end, like this is for like the functionality. So if you want to like make it so that the button when you click to do something, or when you want to enter text and it saves it, you have to import the action listener. Okay, so that's the first part. All right. So now this, wait, who's still doing chat? Okay. This portion right here, right? We want to create the actual GUI. So when in the function, in the class that we have, where we have to want to create it, we have to extend it from JFrame. What's JFrame, we ask? JFrame is creating new windows, right? Once again, see how we have java.awc frame. It uses both swing and action listener as well. So we create a new JFrame, right? You see a lot of these, the J menu, J bar, menu bar, item, all of them come from JFrame. So if you go back to the idea of polymorphism, you remember how if we wanted to create, what is it? Here we have the shape, it implements shape. So basically everything in shape, it gets everything that's related to shape and rectangle, it gets from shape, right? So that's the similar notion here, right? We're extending JFrame, basically anything that we could use like JLabel, uh, the CSCI, that window listener, it gets from JFrame. Okay. Alrighty. So these are just like the variables. This is the counter. We'll use this later. If you're wondering where this came from, you go back here, we have this little port right here. The first time it is pressed, the GUI should display the message, "Are you sure?" in red. The second time it is pressed, the GUI should display, "Are you really sure?" And the third time it is pressed, the program should exit. Close the first two times. So this is like the part of the program really kind of think about it. Um, okay. Uh, super, what is that? I think that's just the label, right? So remember how this extends JFrame? By using super, it goes directly to JFrame, so we don't even need to like create a separate thing for it. It automatically sets the title to editor GUI. We set the size of the frame to our initial height within height, right? And now we have to add a listener, action listener, right? This is for this, right? So we want to add a action listener for the close button. But remember, we don't want it to close right away, right? So we want it to that when you like click it first, and it says this message, and then it says this message, and then on the third time it closes. But to do that, we have to set our own action listener. So that's why we're having this new window destroyer method, which we have down here. See that? Window destroyer. And initially, because we don't want it to that it closes when we initially click, we just set it to this. Set default close operation. When you click it, it does nothing. Okay? All right, I'm just going through this one by one. Once again, it's very hard to like know like the GUI. Most of it's just straight up memorization. So, okay. This part, these portions right here. This is for this menu bar. Okay, so if you see how we click it, when you click the menu bar, it has two options: English to Spanish, Spanish to English, right? So we're creating a new menu bar. We want to label it language, and we want to add items to it. Menu item M, and then M bar, add menu, M bar, right? So this is basically setting up this portion. So like this, that part was adding this language option to the top. Okay. And whenever you, okay, I think I should point this out. Whenever you create new things to add to the that you want to add to the frame, the J frame, you always have to do that dot add, right? You always have to add it on, right? So we're creating a new menu bar. We're adding it on our memo menu onto the menu bar. Otherwise, if you don't do this add function, it'll never show up on the GUI. Okay. And now here we're just adding new options, right? We're adding a new menu item, English and Spanish. We're adding it, Spanish to English. We're adding it. So those add the two options here. Okay. Okay. Content pane. Content pane is where the actual content goes. So that is this. This is our content pane. So everything above here, it's like the header. These are the headers. This is our content. Okay. So most of our main content goes there. Okay. So we have the content pane, and now it's just about matter of just adding it. Right. We got content pane, memorize the content pane, set layout, new border layout. These portions right here, I wouldn't really worry. Just put it as is. If you ever take CS355, you'll learn about grid layout, border layout. It's like CSS stuff. Um, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like I said, it's just memorize it, pure memorizations, putting it on. And yeah, so now this is the editor panel. See once again, see how we're creating these new objects and we're adding them. Right, so we're already creating a new label. We're adding it to wherever we want it to show. The new label here, we're adding it. We're adding it. We're always adding it. That's important. If you never add it, these will never show up. Okay. You have J label, text labels. These are the labels for each portion. Header panel, yes. Content panels. This is a new panel we're creating. And these are the labels. So we have type your text here. If you show up right here, type your text here. Modify text, same thing. New labels. And we're adding them to the editor panels. Okay. And this is text field. So text field, these are what go underneath. And I want you to notice, see how we're adding in the order that we're adding it. We're adding label, text field, label, text field. So this means it's going to show up label, text field, label, text field. Okay, so it's going in order of what we're adding in the column. And this is the last panel. Panel is basically sections. We have different sections. This last is where we put the button panel. This is where we put the buttons, right? So we label it accordingly, button panel, set layout equals new flow layout, content pane.add button panel, border layout, south. So I'm saying this is a CS thing, center, south, it's just alignment of it. And this button panel is not this button panel is basically this right here. All right, that's what button panel. Okay. I'm going through this pretty fast. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone want me to stop? You have any questions? Are you sure? Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. 'Cause at the end, after this, I'm gonna like do a little demo of it, of the GUI, so that we could like see it run in live. Sorry, I'll pause for questions real quick, and then we'll talk about adding the buttons. After GUI, huh? Question 4. What's question 4? 5, 4. Okay. Yes. Okay, we'll do that. Quickly finishing the GUI. So now we've added a section for the buttons, and now we just got to add buttons, right? New J button, new J button. And we're adding them to the button panel. Okay. And I want you to notice here flow layout as well. So there you have grid layout, you have flow layout. Once again, don't worry too much about this for now. Flow layout basically is like it's more what's the word? It's less rigid. It's like you go left to right, up to down, right, certain ways. Grid layout is more like rigid, so it's just strictly up. I think it's strictly up to down, down to up. Um, it's less. It's more. This is more CSS content, right? You'll learn more about this later, but for now, take it as is. And now we're adding new buttons. Okay, so this is our entire language demo, and then we have the main method. And now we have to create a new instance of the demo. This is basically saying we're creating a new panel for it, and we're setting its visibility to true. We're setting it visible for everyone to see. Right. So when you click it, it shows up. And this is the window destroyer. Right. We are now adding a method, window closing, window event E. This is where we have to check the number of attempts that a user has clicked this button. Right. And basically, this is like the more CS111 aspect of it. Like you noticed before, we have a counter for the um, number of attempts they have. If the number of attempts is one, we set the text. Are you sure? If it's two, we set the text as are you really sure? Otherwise, we exit that. So I'm gonna like copy and paste all of this, and we're gonna test it out to see. Why won't it copy and paste everything? That is very annoying. Fine. VS Code time. Live demo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You guys aren't supposed to see this part. Ignore that, that's 355. Open folder. Desktop. Do I not have a folder for personal work? You guys can see the cheetah. Beautiful cheetah. God, okay. New folder. New sessions. Can't put a happy face. Okay. File, open folder. Review session stuff. Select folder. What's the name of this file? Later. New file. Test.java. Right. How do I make this thing go away? Fine. All right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna first we're gonna import what we need to import. Very annoying, copy and paste. Right. Import java.swing. Now we're gonna have public class language demo extends JFrame. Right, we're gonna have this. So we're gonna copy and paste everything. Why won't it let me copy and paste more than one thing? God, anyway. Private, right? So we're setting up our variables. We're gonna have a method language demo, public language demo. Okay. All right. We're gonna menu.add. Bingo. Hmm. Oh, shit. Start main, right? Adding this. Why is it room closing instance of type test is accessible, most qualified application consist. Why is it not giving me? Did I screw up? Maybe. This is not good. This is not good at all. Let me smooth this out. Mm, Bingo. Right, let's run it. Okay. Let's run it. Uh-huh. And there we go. See? Voila. Click language. You have English to Spanish, Spanish to English. Is our menu item. Type your text here. Hello. Translate. That doesn't have very much. Explain those buttons. If I want to click close, are you sure? Are you really sure? Third time? That ends it. Wow, that took more effort than explain here. Does anyone have any questions about it? That's GUI to you guys. Like I said, most of it's just memorization. Any questions? Any questions at all? Anyone have any portions of the GUI that they didn't get? Okay. If that's the case, let's go number 4 now. There you go. I'm never touching GUIs ever again. Okay. Consider the following class. Public class B implements A. Okay. We have a print message function that calls print answer. Print answer is technically here. Print message, however many times. Okay. That's not bad. And we have a main function. A is a new C. Frick. Oh, we got rid of subclass. A is new C, B is new B, A print message, B dot print message. B is we're turning A into B's, and B is print message too. Okay, write an interface A to require two print message methods. So the whole idea of an interface, I keep getting them mixed up. Interface, you don't put anything under that. It's just those function title lines, right? So it's kind of like a blueprint. Okay. Interface to blueprint. What was the other one? Interface. You have interface, you have an abstract class. That's another one. What's the difference between whatever? Basically, interface is just a blueprint, right? So we're having an interface A to require two print methods. So see how we implement A. It's kind of like we're implementing the blueprint of A. So we have to have two methods, right? So we have print message and print answer. So we just write it without anything. Two print message methods, sorry. We basically take the two print messages here and we just add it without the code here, right? That's the whole idea of having the interface. It just gives us a brief blueprint of what we want, right? So this is like anything that implements A, it has to have a print message function with no parameter and a print message function that takes in an integer parameter. That's all this is saying. Okay. Any questions about this so far? That's the whole idea of an interface. Interface. It's done. Right. As a blueprint. Right. So we're just saying that any function that implements A, right here, class B implements A, we have the print message, and we have print message with an X. So we have print message with X. So we just have to like implement it however we may. Okay. Write a subclass C of B that has only one method. The method should override. Okay. So this goes back to kind of so we have B, right? This is a subclass. So C comes from B. So everything in C is inherited. Everything in B is inherited by C inherently. So, but we want to override the print message function. So how do we override it? We just write it anew, right? So B already has a print message function. Right? B already has a print message function. Okay. And now what we want to do is we want to override it. How do we override it? It's just in C, we write our own print message function. So this goes back to like the question you had in the beginning. we have like a shape, and we have shape has its own toString. We want to override it, so anything that inherits it's like a square, we just write the function however we want separately. Right? If we write shape.toString, it would take the shape. Square.toString would take the square. Okay. And then similarly, we want to override it instead of here, whereas before it would print unknown. Now we would do 42. The answer is 42. Well, then you might be wondering how can we use the print answer? Remember, C extends B. Everything in B is inherently in C, right? So we could technically use functions from B in C because it's a subclass of it. Any questions so far? Who brought this question? Hazra. Am I butchering your name? I'm really bad with names. Is everyone okay with this?
Yes.
First two? Huh?
Oh,
You hear
sorry.
me?
I was just responding. Yeah, that's how you say the name.
Oh, we're good. I'm really bad with names. It takes me a while to get names on. But is everyone okay with this question? The first two parts, it's simple like object-oriented programming. The beauty of Java. Any questions? Water break. Is there gonna be a class in here at 1:40? Maybe. You might have to do that. About December at 1:30. We'll probably end early. I don't think we need anything after this. I think after this question. If you guys have any other questions after this, please like let us know or maybe like write it down in the chat. I think after this, we pretty much went over everything. This is the output questions, right? So right here, let's say, so suppose interface A and class C are described as A and B. What is the output when the main method of class B is run, right? So in the main method, so A is a new C. Let me write this down. So we have a new object. It's a C type, and we name it A. B, not A. This is lowercase a. Lowercase a. Then we have a new object B. This is B. Okay. So now we're doing a.print message. So a.print message. This is right here. A.print message. Right. What's the type of A? A is C. Right. So we got to go to the print message method of class C. So now it's going to print. The answer is 42. Did everyone see why? Because this is a type C object. This is a type C. So it's going to use this print message function, not the print message function of B. It's not going to use this one. It's not going to use this one. Not going to use this one yet. Right? Whereas B is a B type object. Right? So it's going to go to the class B and it's going to print whatever is here. Right? So print message is going to print answer. The answer is unknown. Okay. Because B, this is a type object B, the class B doesn't have this separate print message. For B, for C, prints 42. For B, it prints unknown. Okay. All right. And afterwards, what do we see? We see that B is now B of A. Because this is B of A. So it's technically we're like taking whatever A is, right? We're trying to squeeze it into an object B, and now we're not setting. Now B goes from there to here, right? But it works. Why? Because C is inherently a type of B, right? Because C is a subclass of B. So we could turn a C object into a B. It's kind of like going back to the question. Well, we could, if we declare something as a square is also a shape. So if we already have an object that's a shape, let's say I have something, we have shape S1 and then square S2. I can technically set S1 to whatever S2 is if I do shape S2, right? It kind of goes back to 111. If you go back to the ideas of trying to force variables, you have something like, if you remember, you do like int like 2, this makes it 2.0, right? Or you do double, no, I'm sorry, double 2 makes it 2.0. If you do like something int 2.0, it just makes it 2. A similar idea, right? So now, oops. So now we have B is now, so now what is it over here? We have C, A was pointing here. We had a B. C is also inherently a B. We had B pointing here, and then this line means we did remove this, we did this, right? And now it's saying print message 2 times. And what does that do? So we have to go to this function here. Um, 2. So it's going to be passing in 2. And we're printing message. So now the main idea is, which message does it print? Does it print the message of B, which is unknown? Or does it print a message of C down here, which is 42? Well, remember, what's A? A is inherently an object of C. The reason why we can also point B towards it is because C is a subclass of B. So anything that's C is also B. So now when we print it, which print message does it use? It uses the one that it was declared with, which is this one. Right? So it prints 42. So it prints, that's why you see here, it prints the answer is 42 twice. Right? Twice. It's not, that's why it's 42. It's not unknown because it was declared initially as C. And C has 42, remember. C has 42. This is unknown. Okay. Any questions? Any questions at all? For these types of questions, the output questions, it helps to draw things out, like I did here, sort of. It'll help like visualize everything. So, yeah. Any questions? Anything else we want to go over? I think we did it all. We did everything. Any questions? Any questions? Everyone okay? Could you post the other form in case we leave early? Any other questions? Any other questions? You good? Everyone good? No worries. So for those who didn't show up, or if you showed up and you still have questions, maybe you missed something from the beginning, this is gonna be recorded. Ooh, my word. Someone just show up. Sean, who's Sean? He's not showing yet. Hi, Sean. What, you missed everything? No worries. Yeah, please fill out this form. For the person who did, Sean, what, you missed everything. I'm joking. I'm going to show you guys where you're going to find the recording. So you got resources, you got comp sci resources, and we'll see down here, scroll down under 212. I think we did the first midterm for Professor Chin. That was then. Midterm 2, we're going to post it here. All right, so maybe a bit, I think later today or tomorrow, the recording is going to be out. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? Last minute questions? I think that's pretty much it. We went over everything. Leave that in chat. That's me. Two. Okay. Before they log off, please fill out the form. If you came late and you want to like, you were still lost on some things, maybe you feel free to review the video. We went over everything. Um, GUI, we went over inheritance, we went over um the methods. Okay. Any other questions? If there's no questions, you guys are dismissed. Hopefully that helps. So, for you, you're in person. You get to fill out the form in person. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think we're good. I'm gonna stop the recording. All right. Thank you guys. Good luck on your exam.